And the next big project, it says here, it
The
says
80s.
the
Oh, wait.
80s book.
Oh,
Yay.
surprise. Yes,
Yeah.
Harold. We're looking forward to having Harold with us, maybe. Hopefully,
Hmm.
if he'll have us, if you'll have us.
Yeah,
We'll talk
my
about.
brain, in my spare time, my brain just that's why I keep on bringing up Knocked Out Loaded because I think that might be my thing. Because I just did a podcast on Dylan of the Dead and a lot of Dylan of the Dead stuff. I might move on to something new or whatever. We'll see.
Well, knocked
But
out
well,
loaded.
it's I got to see what else other people are doing too. Someone may have already claimed Knocked Out Loaded.
There's been a long list of people who are
No,
clamoring for
no
knocked
one,
out loaded.
to my
My baby.
knowledge,
What?
no one has claimed it.
No one's claimed that. I was like, hopefully, I'll be able to say down the groove. I hope there's a Robert Hunter connection between Together Through Life. Together Through Life, first time since Down the Groove that the Hunters are there. But yeah, I think that if we could do it the way we want to do it, I think there's going to be a lot of really cool things of like, and not just saying, "Hey guys, you got it wrong," but more like there's a lot of really great music that's being produced. And I think that we talk about like production values of a few records or some song selection anomalies.
Collaborations. Yeah, it just, yeah.
But I mean, there's some really great stuff, and it's not like any. Of course, people know that, but it'd be really great to kind of have sort of a deep dive in these
Mhm.
directions, sort of like what we're doing.
Yeah, it's like again that younger generation that they have a lot less of a problem than we had when we were well that not they had no preconceived notions. It's like Bob Dylan being silly and doing a video for Hearts of Fire or a Tight Connection. It's like just part of the fun. And we were just at least me. I didn't say it's just I don't even judge it. It's just like it's just baffling. It's like oh my god. And again, I think of the line go along with the charade till I can think my way out. I think about that the 80s all the time. But I also just remind me of something I must have read in the 70s where uh, like in the 60s, people used to go through Bob Dylan's cigarette ashes to find out some hidden meaning. And the weird thing is they'd find it. It's like, you keep on, as long as, I mean, you don't want to get into like Charles Manson territory, we just want to explore things, find things. And again, no, I'm going on and on, but Paul Simon recently did interviews and he's saying, the listener completes the song. It's like there's what Bob Dylan puts out there is one thing, but how we absorb it may be completely different. But if that's what we hear, it's a little bit of a Rorschach test. But it's like whatever we hear when we're listening to Bob Dylan is what we hear, and if it makes us feel good, and if we make a connection that maybe Bob Dylan didn't have, it's perfectly fine. It's not trying to understand what Bob Dylan is thinking all the time. It's just what it makes you feel too.
There's also a little bit of just kind of empathy or compassion that none of these people had any map as to what to do at 45 years old.
Hmm.
There was no, I mean, their idols were either dead or off on some circuit, and yet you have all of these people who were sort of like, well, what do we do? And I think that there's a lot of missteps on a lot of different directions for all of these, people in that first rung of 60s pop idols. But man, if we just focus on Dylan, having a little bit of empathy and compassion as to understanding that he's sort of figuring it out, you
Hmm.
know, and ultimately there's a vast body of work that can be dissected various ways, but it's still some really fundamental stuff. And if we can get an entire essay of the clip of him on We Are the World, I think we've done our job.
I love that clip. But no, I think that there's something to that. And I said this to Craig Danieloff that, that he had never failed so consistently, by press standards and defied the expectations by not living up to, his previous self in terms like he had, you know, albums here and there that people didn't like, but so consecutively that it really did break, that expectation where it was liberating for him that he could just hopefully like recreate himself or just continue creating. And I think that that is one of the fascinating things about the 80s too, that even if there is stuff that's not great, then, like Harold, you said that it's still better than other things that are out at the time, but also in that struggle of him trying to find his pathway forward, I think there's something interesting in that as well.
Good.
Yeah, not living, I mean, living through that period, but not being aware so much at that point. The people who lived through it, they have the burden or the baggage of knowing what came before, and the people coming after it have the privilege or the burden, I guess, of knowing what comes after.
Right.
Entering the 80s, knowing you have Time Out of Mind and the acoustic records, knowing that's coming after it is maybe you don't see it so much as these weird sort of what's going on. It's kind of like we've seen this, so where does that? And I think that has to be kept in mind too, that you have this very wildly different perspectives and expectations going in and how you go into it. And it's sort of like, instead of seeing it as one record after another, creating a body of work, it's coming back from it saying, well, here are the things I like, here are the things I like, here are the things I like, and not being so concerned with the fact that half that record you don't really listen to that much or whatever it is. And I think that's an important, cool sort of piece to all of this.
I think too, like there are things that, like that line from, about the boll weevil and Silvio that Robert Hunter is, paraphrasing from an old folk song, an old blues song that Dylan then perfects and has, continued to perfect in this late stage in his career, that you can see like, he had maybe done that a little bit, but he really picks that up. And so I think he's trying to figure that's one of the ways, like the strands that we see through the 80s that we can still kind of look at in terms of his own artistic creation that's come out of there, that is something really wonderful.
And getting back to something Court said a little while ago, it's like, there's no precedence for him to be around this long. It's like, I think that's one of the reasons he went for the standards. It means he had to, Buddy Holly died young, Hank Williams died young, and even, Garcia only made it to like 52. And, where do you go? Well, Frank made it into his 80s. So like, let me explore that. So, and, he did it for a few albums, and he came out afterwards with Rough and Rowdy Ways, and we can debate whether one thing had anything to do with the other, but that's what we do. I mean, as I'm sitting here today, I could probably talk to you for another few hours. There are very few people I can whenever, like when we're in Harvard Square, it's like you're everyone's like on automatic, like everything that's in their heads, it's like is going around, and it's like trying to listen to people and share things. All right,
I think it was only the rain that broke up our party.
Is there anything else in particular you wanted to bring up? I mean, there's the book's coming out. I'm not sure when I'm going to try to get this out. It's fairly soon. And I'll have a link in it with the artwork for the book and the link to purchase the book.
It's also on Amazon. You can get it through Amazon as well.
What besides Amazon can you get it from the? Is it from the directly from the publisher or from the school?
Yeah, I think the link we sent you was from the publisher, but it's also on Amazon. I can send a link for that as well.
Okay, I'll put that up there.
I want people to know that the ebook is priced officially
to own. Yes,
the ebook. I mean, we know that we have no control over the other stuff, and the hardback is, yes, it is. We know, but that's not something we chose. But there is an ebook, and hopefully a paperback. These are all to be determined. My guess is that one day the book's going to show up on our doorstep soon. I'm guessing.
So you haven't even seen an official copy yet?
No,
we have not.
But I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of the work we did. I'm really proud of us. This sounds like low-hanging fruit, but I'm really proud of us persevering and getting it done. And
well, as I said,
it's something positive to come from the pandemic, I guess.
Yeah, perfect timing. It's right in the middle of a tour. The Budokan thing, it's like part of the Mix Up the Messengers came out. There's all this Dylan activity. Join the party. Another way to explore Dylan.
If you're
Um,
excited about Budokan, you'll love this very expensive collection of academic essays.
well, I ordered the Japanese 8 album version.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to it twice, and it'll be on my shelf, and no one will be impressed. And but that's what I do. I do it for me, and I'll pull it out every once in a while. Well, the thing is, he keeps on putting stuff out. It's like once he puts out a bootleg series, then you go to the next one. But anyway, again, I said I can talk to you guys for hours, and hopefully we can do this again. And yeah, hopefully. I'm looking forward to hopefully being a contributor to the 80s book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this
And
was great, Harold. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you
having
so
me.
much, Harold. It was great to spend time with you, and thanks for talking with us about the book and
thanks
everything
for
else.
thanks for including me into your little Bob Dylan club. And
The door isn't open. The door doesn't exist.
No, yeah.
well, I didn't know I didn't know there was a door. Isn't that a line?
There is no door.
It's open
If there ever
admission.
was a door.
Oh.
Only the shadow knows. All right. Well, again, it's a good thing for those. If anyone got to the end of this, I'm just saying that I splurged halfway through for the unlimited time because I wanted to hear everything you guys had to say, and this has been a pleasure, very educational. Hopefully, we covered enough, we explained it enough. Yeah, the Kindle is very affordable. I saw that. And everyone go out and buy it. And I already sent a link to Expecting Rain once. I don't know if you saw that. And all right. Well, time for my boot heels to you wandering.
All right.
Thanks, Harold.
All
Thanks,
right. Thank
Harold.
you.